we told you that Super Bowl 60's halftime show starring Bad Bunny might have been the product of Venezuelan commie prop? Folks, we're not making it up. We've got the details, we've got the receipts, and we'll bring it to you from someone who's an expert in all of this. Get ready for one of the biggest exposés you've ever seen, and your blood just might boil.
Well, I mean, he's a propaganda tool. The whole entertainment company behind him, called Rimas Entertainment LLC, was started by an ex-vice minister of Hugo Chavez and the regime in Venezuela. So he is literally a propaganda tool.
It's a beautiful day, folks. It's a bonito day. Or should we say buenos dias to every one of you out there right now, because somehow we found our way together. As we gather together to learn the truth with a capital T, consider clicking the like button, drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts. And if you're not yet subscribed, this is the kind of video that just might convince you to join the Pro Nation. The media are super desperate to keep Bad Bunny in the headlines, and this time, it's full-blown desperation. It is crazy levels, and get ready, folks, because Variety, a Hollywood trade, Variety, this is not some sort of schlub on YouTube somewhere. This is a Hollywood trade agency is actually writing an article that is best described as going crazy about the comment section. The article is from William Earl, and it says, "What I learned about MAGA men after responding to angry emails about Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show. A Hollywood trade is taking the time to write an article about a Super Bowl ratings loser. The emails that they're getting about this, the emails." Before we read the article, folks, I want to confirm something for you, okay? We're gonna read it, okay? But before we do, I just need to confirm. From Media Play News, Samba TV, U.S. household Super Bowl 60 halftime show viewership declined by double digits by Eric Grundwell. It says new data from Samba TV found 13% lower. And that was for the Super Bowl overall. Down 39%, though, for the halftime show. And look at this. Samba is now attributing the decline to Turning Point USA. Now, we have looked at this in high fidelity, folks. We have looked at the Samba TV numbers. Nielsen this year suddenly changed the way that they do the ratings, and they're counting online stuff. If you strip out the online stuff and you realize that Samba TV is counting households, not eyeballs, you add the multiplier to the households. We've discovered the Samba TV and Nielsen numbers actually line up once you take out all the fluff of Nielsen. So Samba TV's on it. The 38% thing is real. This is a 39%, drop is real. So that's why we're getting articles like this, because they're reeling, trying to figure out why you all didn't do what they said you were going to do. Here's the article. Quote, "Hi, William. You are a pole-smoking buttocks pirateer. I loved Kid Rock last night, and not your, what am I going to say here? Your fluffy, idle, bad funny. Eat blankety blank." Now, this is a Hollywood trade that's putting this up here. Ladies and gentlemen, if I did a video every day on the comment section, we listen, not to toot the horn, but we get, hundreds of thousands of views every day. You can imagine how many comments there are. If we go to the comment section, I can go cherry pick out some comments that come from crazy people, because some percentage of the population are crazy people, and they say crazy things. This article is literally sitting on Hollywood. They're posting the insanity from the darkest places of the web and then pretending that's the normal response to them. It says, "While the majority of my job involves writing about entertainment in a way that's siloed away from politics, I knew I was wading to raging waters when I agreed to write a column comparing and contrasting Sunday night's dueling halftime shows. As a fan of Bad Bunny as well as country music, I tried to watch both the NFL's official presentation and Turning Point USA's All-American halftime show with an open mind. In the end, I wrote that the hastily assembled Kid Rock headlining TPUSA event was no match for Bad Bunny's jubilant and welcoming celebration, and my essay took it to task. I braced for plenty of feedback on social media and comments on the post." Folks, here's what you need to know. Would they have even published the article if it had said TPUSA's was better?
No.
Exactly. It was all, this is all a game. Folks, just look behind it. Look behind what they say. Here's one of the emails that we're told they received. Quote, "Quick question. How long before the halftime show began did you complete the article? I'm no fan of the current president, but the media continues to show it has no interest in credibility with this resist everything practice. We deserve better. Sadly, you were more concerned with pushing a predetermined narrative than reporting." This person literally declares they're not MAGA. They're not in favor of President Trump, but it has to be included. And what does that tell you, folks? This entire article, and I'm gonna quickly scroll through it so you can see the length that we go. They got so little feedback from MAGA men that they had to resort to using emails from people who literally say, I'm not a fan of President Trump. But they spent an entire article on it. Why? Because everybody and everything in the legacy media, for whatever reason, they are determined to defend Bad Bunny. Elmo is here. Elmo says that Bad Bunny was amazing. Elmo thinks he should be called Good Bunny. Elmo loves you, Mr. Good Bunny. This would be like Elmo listening to Cardi B's WAP and then saying, Elmo doesn't think that's a bad song, Cardi. Elmo loves you. Rosita joins in. I agree, really Elmito.
Gross? I mean, honestly, using a children's character to try to push up some kind of political message in that way. Why is Elmo on Twitter? It's 13 and over on Twitter. Come on.
Well, he's 45 and needs to take a shower. Megan McCain joining in says, been listening to nothing but Bad Bunny since the Super Bowl. Congrats to all the lunatics who have inadvertently turned me into the biggest Bad Bunny stan on the planet right now. Says her favorite song is Titi Me Pregunto and Nueva Yo. By the way, Titi Me Pregunto is a song about all the women that are his girlfriends, and he's going to take them to the VIP. Megan McCain says, I'm so sick of anti-Semitism, cancel culture hypocrites, literal racist apologists and commentators who pretend centrist and center-right left Americans don't exist or matter in the election. You're going to blank us so hard in midterms that at 28 at this pace. And she ties that to this Bad Bunny. And she retweeted, by the way, because she didn't get enough support on this, so she retweeted to really get the effect. So why are they doing everything they can to defend Bad Bunny? And we just showed you a 38% drop at the Super Bowl halftime show. Even if they count it differently this year by Nielsen and then hide it in the fine print. Why are they trying to defend Bad Bunny so hard? The culture war. And Nat, you know stuff about Bad Bunny that a lot of people don't know. Help us connect the dots to socialism and communism in a way that we simply would not know if it were not for your channel and what you've been doing there.
Well, I mean, he's a propaganda tool. Their whole entertainment company behind him, called Rimas Entertainment LLC, was started by an ex-vice minister of Hugo Chavez and the regime in Venezuela. So he is literally a propaganda tool propped up by a lot of these regimes, and which is why he continues to speak about and for communist rebellion in the countries that still have that. And also, for example, didn't speak up about what was happening in Cuba, the people that came out on the 11th to protest their own governments. And when Maynor was captured, he didn't mention that at all, and the subjugation of the people. But he does spew hate against America and the American empire because that is basically his directive, in my opinion, at least.
Now wait a minute, Nat. We need to say that again for emphasis. You're telling me that Bad Bunny came onto the scene via Hugo Chavez money from Venezuela, paying for him to become a famous person to spread this message to the West.
Essentially. I mean,
Wow.
His whole Rimas Entertainment music label was created basically for him, and then there's more artists in it, but by an ex-vice minister of security from the Chavez regime.
And so Hollywood and the legacy media defending this man, it makes perfect sense why he was the Super Bowl halftime show and why they're defending him to the very end, because he is literal socialist communist propaganda that is being forced upon America. And this is why this guy, who is no Michael Jackson, he's no Paul McCartney, he's no Aerosmith, he's no Metallica, he's no Beyonce even, he's not talented, he is literal commie prop that is being slopped upon us, and we're all being forced to agree, oh, he's the greatest thing since ever.
And
Wow.
also the messaging during the show was just clearly that. I mean, the liberation flag for Puerto Rico that he brought up instead of the actual one, the fact that he had Ricky Martin there singing, don't do the same to Puerto Rico that they did to Hawaii, everything was very connected. The messaging
Wait a minute. Hold on, Nat.
As well.
Nat, you're okay. Explain that to folks, because a lot of people don't know that there's a Puerto Rican flag and there's a liberated Puerto Rican flag. They're telling us, Nat, that this was a message of unity. They're telling us that you didn't even have to speak Spanish to understand what this was. You just the music is universal. It spoke to their hearts. Nat, what flag, what bandera was flying for Puerto Rico, and why does it matter?
The one for free Puerto Rico, essentially, or liberated Puerto Rico from the U.S. And that is a whole communist movement that wants to go against the American empire and wants to separate Puerto Rico from America, which most Puerto Ricans don't want. Because
And they flew
feel
that
like
next to the American flag, right, in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and next to a bunch of other colony flags.
And so the people watching the Super Bowl, this is such a great conversation, Nat. And folks, if I'm speaking over Nat a little bit, understand it's because the passion that I feel in this conversation. This is amazing, Nat. What we're uncovering right here is people are not. It's not that they're not smart enough; they're not knowledgeable enough about the intricacies of this to understand what was being portrayed in the Super Bowl. That literally in front of their face, but without their knowledge, they were flying a flag that said "Destroy the American Empire," split Puerto Rico out of the country. Next to the American flag, it's like spitting into American viewers' faces, and they just don't know what the message is.
And Ricky Martin also saying that you messed up Hawaii, and you're going to come do it to Puerto Rico as well.
You know, I like Hawaii. I don't know what's wrong with Hawaii. Hawaii's a good place.
And
Nice.
then even the profit margins and the way that Rimas Entertainment itself works is very different to the rest of the music industry. Right now, he has a 90-10 split within his own entertainment company. So that is very different to how most artists are actually signed and how they receive and make money, which is also crazy.
Lauren, now that you're hearing this, what are your thoughts on the legacy media in Hollywood defending to their bone marrow Bad Bunny and the way that they can't let go? Americans would not go watch him, and they've done everything they can to hide how badly this went. What are your thoughts on now the full details of it?
Well, there's all kinds of incentives for them to do so, not least of which is that they want to remain dominant. They want to be seen as the authoritative source of news. I think they're failing at that. There are profit incentives. I know that there was question as to how much influence Apple had on making sure that he was the centerpiece of this whole thing. But this is not new. Using these type of shows or events to spread a propagandist message and to create division, that's not new. I think what is new is that we're becoming more aware of it faster. And I think
because of places like Nat and the Guy, her channel doing this. I mean, this is the stuff you would never hear on CNN. You would never find it on MS Now, not even Fox News. But the independent new media journalists like Nat, this is exploding the truth out into the world.
Yeah, and it's why this new media is picking up. It's why citizen journalism is becoming so much more important again, is because you get lots of eyes on something very fast. They all have the equipment and the ability to broadcast it out there, and people that are reporting things that turn out to be true get more eyeballs on them. That is the marketplace and competition doing what it's supposed to do, which is one of the reasons that you would prefer a capitalistic system over a communist system, is because the market settles things ideally.
You know, Ron, as you hear that this comes from corruption in Venezuela, as you are married to someone from Venezuela, how does it make you feel seeing Elmo congratulating what is clearly commie prop?
Sorry, it's just the Elmo angle of it, I think, is really it's funny, but it's also disturbing. But it's hard not to laugh at because it's Elmo. Because I in my mind, I'm like, oh, Elmo really misses Maduro, man. Elmo really misses Chavez. Elmo wants to go to old Venezuela where everything was communistic and great.
That sounds like Elmo, yeah.
I just can't. It's so hard. The funny thing, okay, so to me, I didn't watch the Bad Bunny show during the Super Bowl. I watched it the next day. By the way, the next day, I think every 2 minutes an ad came on YouTube, and then when I watched it on the official channel. But for me, like just watching it on the surface, right? On the surface, okay, he's wearing this white thing and there's a couple getting married in the background, and most people have no idea what the lyrics to these words are, because my understanding is the people that know Spanish listened to him and still didn't understand the lyrics because he mumbles so much.
Right. He's not impressive.
Right. And everything, the production surrounded him. By the way, did you hear that? I'm sorry about this little tangent, but did you know that there are people in every single one of those blades of grass? Like,
oh yeah,
those were 45-pound suits that people wore, And apparently about 40 of those people that got hired got fired before the show because they were posting on social media going against their NDAs. Whole other story. But I just saw that and I thought it was really funny. Because
that's one way to cut the lawn.
Yeah. The people in the stadium couldn't really see the show very well. It was all produced for television. So because it was produced specifically for the TV audience, there's very specific things that they wanted to show. And the messaging that, as Nat pointed out, was kind of like messaging to the subconscious, because if this is truly an example of a wolf in sheep's clothing, literally a wolf in sheep's clothing, because on the surface, it looks like a fun show. Oh, he's so nice. He's giving his Grammy to a kid. Oh, there's this couple and they propose and then they're getting married. And like, okay, all of that surface stuff, that's what the mainstream, the drive-bys, all the shills, that's the thing that they're pointing out. Oh, this was so unifying. But of course, in the background, he's talking about something completely different. However, I will say this, at the end of it, I think that Bad Bunny made the big mistake, as far as Venezuela is concerned, of unifying America. He said, God bless America. And when he said that, he was saying like all the different countries that make up the continent, both North and South America of America, right? In so doing, he actually literally justified the actions that the White House took against Maduro, because that was the same thing Marco Rubio said. Hey, it's the same continent. It's in our best interest to do this. I don't think that Bad Bunny knew he was doing that, but it's kind of like the time that the Avengers said, down with democracy.
Elmo doesn't agree with that. Elmo's a big fan of Maduro. Yeah, big fan of Maduro, baby.
Hey, Nat, now that we got dueling Elmos, Nat, I'm going to give you the final word on this. Jonas, was there anything you wanted to add before we go to Nat?
I don't have an Elmo impression, but I'd rather hear what Nat has to say on this, because she's spot on her journalism.
Step up your vocal talents, Jonas, seriously. Hey, Nat, I'm going to give you the final word because this segment's not possible without you. You've uncovered that this is commie prop, paid for, funded by Venezuela, dropped into the Super Bowl, and then the celebrities and Hollywood, they're all full force defense. So, Nat, your final thoughts on this, and maybe it is worth freaking out. Maybe it is worth covering this and continuing to say this was all wrong.
And that's the thing. And also, for example, I mean, I'm not the first person to discover it, and it's been written about in articles for a very long time. The thing is most of them are in Spanish and nobody is reading that. But I am glad to see a lot of people in social media in Spanish and within Latin America are pointing this out, and they are saying, and they are going against him as they discover and realize, or just want to reiterate that he's just part of the narrative that they want to plant.
The Hollyweirds don't understand how it is we do what we do, bringing you video after video every single day of the utmost highest excellence and quality. But folks, we do it because of you. We appreciate you. You are seen and heard here on the Pro Channel. Make your voices heard, folks, by doing one last thing before we say goodbye for a short time. Consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and you know what? That notification bell, click it and stick it to the algorithms. Also, drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. And don't forget, folks, we've got even more content on the way. If you'd like to become a member, it's just the price of a soda per month, and you'll gain access to all kinds of exclusive content beyond what the public sees, including archival footage of the Pro Show that goes away after just a few days from its public release. Folks, we hope we get the honor of spending time with you again soon, and until then, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.